on, guys? Welcome back. It is the 29th of July. We're going to take a look here at XRP / the United States dollar. This is a daily chart. The data here is from TradingView and also price data from Bitstamp. Let's take a dive into the charts. Let's zoom in here to XRP. So XRP yesterday. So every day, guys, the charts, the candles tell us a story. And if you are, call it a technician, your job is to learn how to read those candles, and then you can kind of figure out the story of what's going on in the specific asset. For this example, it's XRP. Let's go back to yesterday. Yesterday was a bearish, basically a bearish engulfing candle. What that means is we made a new daily high yesterday. We also made a new daily low yesterday from the previous day. We made a new low, we made a new high, and we closed lower. This is a red candle. It engulfs the previous day and closed down. It's a bearish engulfing candle. It's not a good sign. Today, we made another daily low. So far, the markets are up here, 1.71%, at least for this data here from Bitstamp. So we'll see how we do. Looking at yesterday's candle does not tell us that this market's ready to rock and roll. So that's where we're at here. We got some resistance at the 327 level for XRP. We also have some solid resistance here right above 340. We have all these candle wicks going back to the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, through the 22nd with basically an unchanged day. And then we finally got the big sell-off here on the 23rd. So there is some struggle here for XRP to get above this basically 340 zone. Got the big sell-off. Market's it's basically just trying to hold, stay above water here. And yesterday was another little break here, a little warning sign that this chart is still struggling. So we'll see what happens here. I think at some point we break back to the upside. Maybe we chop around sideways for a bit first, try to get our footing before taking off to the upside. Obviously, we have the 50 above the 200-day. It's trending higher. Next market support is 292.30. That's down here in white. Let's talk some higher lows. So far we have a higher low here. We have a lower high printed yesterday. One of two scenarios should play out here. This market's either going to stop somewhere above the highs over here from the 24th, put in a higher low, and then rally, taking out this previous high, making another higher high. That'll give us that change in trend back to the upside. So if we get a pullback that continues and starts to get close to that low from the 24th, it's going to start to get people bearish again. Say we stop in here somewhere, 297 or so, and then start to rally. Or we're going to do another shakeout. This market's going to pull back, undercut that low, and then flip and start to rally. That's the second scenario. The third scenario, there is a third scenario, is this is obviously a lower high, and this market is far from getting ready to rally, and it's going to continue to correct and put in another lower low. Maybe it gets us back down to closer to the 50-day, the 260 or so range. So let's keep that in mind. Everybody's looking for a monster move here in the crypto markets, especially XRP. Everybody's looking for the same thing, and so far it's not playing out. Now we're seeing things start to shift. Again, our altcoin season indicator is not close. So everybody's looking for the same thing in the market, and that's why I'm highly, you just got to be careful when everybody's doing that, because it doesn't always work that way. It does not always. When everybody's looking left in the market, be careful. You probably want to look right. So we'll see. Do we rally at some point here? I think so. And I think we break out big time. But maybe there's some shaking out, some whipsawing beforehand. Let's take a look up to the, let's take a look higher here for, we have a bunch of targets, guys. If we, $4, that's a new target. We have a couple up here between 450s and $5. We have one up there at 617, and we have one up here at $11. You know, as far as putting a time frame on that, I can't do that. I can just tell you that if this breaks out and the trend does continue, these are levels I'll be watching everywhere from 4, 5, 6. You know, who knows? Maybe we get up here to 11. It definitely, this lines up with also a fib level right around 11.15. So that's what we're watching here for XRP. Let's keep an eye on this low here. An undercut of this low from the 24th would not be so good. Pretty much would put a damper in the current uptrend. Doesn't mean it won't stop and turn back around and go higher, but we're going to watch that low. An undercut of that low is a potential warning sign that things are really starting to break apart here, at least for the short term. We could throw the fibs up here real quick for XRP. We'll take the swings high from over here, from like the 17th of January. We'll take that major swing low there that found support at right around $1.64. And you can see here what I was talking about is based on that, based on this correction here, the 2618 is up there at $11. That target I've had up there for a long time, and I would love to see it get hit. We're surpassed the 1618 up here right around $5 or 520, 526, call it. I think both of those are very doable. And then, of course, the fibs just keep going, whether the price gets up there or not. Time will tell. 3642 up there at $35 and $22. All right, let's see what happens. Basically, a nice takeaway from here is when everybody's calling for the same thing in the markets, just be careful of that. Be careful. It doesn't always play out like that. When everybody's calling for a market bottom or a market top, usually the crowd is not right on Wall Street. Let's go over to the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, this is a good sign here. So we had the major break. We rallied up into resistance at the 200-day. We pulled back. We put in a higher low yesterday. So we're not quite there yet because this higher low could actually start to take us up higher into a higher high, which happened back in here. Higher low, higher high, higher low. Bitcoin continues to rally. Altcoins are not ready yet. If this starts to break down like this, all right, now we're looking pretty good. 50-day turning to the downside. Keeping an eye on that. That's the Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's head over to CoinMarketCap. The CoinMarketCap altcoin season indicator is at 41. Again, it's very far from a 75, but it can get there pretty quick. Here is recent transactions for Bitcoin. And I saw this on another channel. I believe this was the website they had on there. And it was just very interesting to see the money flowing through BTC here. And this is in, I guess it's US dollars. Wild numbers you were seeing here. Tens of millions of dollars being transferred via Bitcoin. So, $200, 200,000. There you go. $3.6 million was just transferred using Bitcoin. That's wild. 1.8 million, $3,000, $100. Very, very cool stuff. There's a lot of money out there, guys, in these markets. All right. So what's going to wrap it up? Again, just be mindful of when everybody's calling for the same thing in the markets. Try to take notice of that and just be a little skeptical. It doesn't always play out like that. Try to have your own thoughts and think for yourself and try to figure things out on your own. Again, I hope we break out here to the upside. I think there's a lot of potential here for XRP, and we could break out at any moment. 4, 5, 6, all the way up there to $11 on a massive breakout. Could easily be up there in the $5 range. All links down below. Trading membership link is down below if you're interested in that. There's cryptos, there's stocks, and there's ETFs in there, trading signals. If you are not yet subscribed, join us. You guys have a great day. Of course, not financial advice.